This video is part 1 showing my workflow to fix up a face scan for 3D printing. I'll be using this old free software called Meshmixer, which I find is fast and useful for basic tasks. This is a case study relevant to burn therapists using orthoses to apply pressure and silicone to treat hypertrophic scarring. In part 2, I'll explain 3 techniques of how to create a negative mold if you want a pore plaster, create a positive mold for pulling an orthosis, and finally a method to directly print the mask itself. But in this video, I'll be showing the basics of Meshmixer and the steps to prepare the model. The main thing is to get a basic surface of the face. You can do a lot of this with your own scanning software, but there may be certain problems that Meshmixer can help address. I'll be working with a non-watertight model, but you can use a watertight one as well. If your scan is exported with multiple files, make sure they stay together in one folder. Start by importing the OBJ file into Meshmixer. Real quickly, these are your basic navigation controls to rotate, pan, and zoom. The view cube in the corner will orient the mesh into standardized views. If you drag these little shader balls onto the mesh, you can view it with or without color information or transparent or whatever. You can see that this face is not positioned well, so I'm going to reposition it so the front view shows the front of the face. To do this, use the transform function to move things around. This widget pops up and you can either select L for local frame or W for world frame. We'll pick W. And then you use these controls to rotate or shift the mesh into a useful position. This doesn't really have to be perfect. Use Command Z, or if you're in Windows, Control Z to undo, and don't forget to save often. Now, if I show the wireframe, you can see that the triangles in this mesh are fairly irregular. I find things behave better down the road when they're more uniform. So here I'm going to select all and remesh. The result looks bad because I used a really low resolution model. So I'll try again, but this time I'll use the slider to increase the triangle density. You don't have to increase the density if your model is already pretty detailed. You can see now, looking at the wireframe, there's a higher triangle count and they're more uniform. Now I'll cut out the face. Start by opening the select tool and adjusting the brush size, then draw over the portion of the face that you want. If you make a mistake, you can erase part of your selection by holding Command or Control if you're in Windows. And once you're happy with the selection, optimize the boundary. And then smooth the boundary, and you get this nice smooth selection. Now that we have that, you invert the selection, and then you discard all the unnecessary stuff. The face will turn a certain color. This is called a face group. It's useful later on, but for now we'll just clear it. Now, if you have a watertight export, it might look like this, where everything is automatically filled in. The process is going to be exactly the same. You want to end up with just the face surface. Changes in Meshmixer are permanent, so I like to keep backup copies. To do this, open up the object browser, click on the copy button, and then click the I to hide the original mesh. And then make sure you click and highlight the new working model. Maybe something went wrong with the scan and you might have holes or imperfections. Here are some repair techniques. Using this ear as an example, if I want to fill this hole, I start with the select tool and then use a slider to decrease its size. You go near the edge of the hole and double click it so just the edge is selected. Then you fill the hole using erase and fill. Sometimes it doesn't work. You can try increasing the size of the selection by holding Command and then using the mouse scroll wheel, and then use erase and fill again. The repair here isn't perfect. The edges need to be smoothed out. Go to Sculpt Tools and select Robust Smooth for these edges. Robust Smooth is great for smoothing out any other minor imperfections as well. Sometimes the scan may have larger, weird areas that are hard to smooth out. You can try selecting this area and then erasing and filling it, and then smoothing out the edges. Say you have a big area and you're not happy with how it's being filled, maybe it's smoothed over the contours too much, or maybe you need to connect two parts of a mesh, you can try using the bridge command. For this, you make two small selections across a gap, and if you do it right, it makes a bridge, and now you have two smaller holes to work with. This can be useful to solve certain problems. If you're making a face orthosis, you may want to pop out certain areas like the nasal bone to avoid excess pressure and skin breakdown. To do this, select a portion that you want to enlarge. And then use the soft transform function. For this, you want to select L for local frame, not the W. Then use the widget to pop out the selected area and smooth out any hard edges with robust smooth. And here I show the same thing with the eyebrow ridge. At this stage, the prep work is done. Stay tuned for part 2 where I'll show how to convert this mesh into either a negative or positive mold for pulling an orthosis, and also how you can create a directly printable mask.